Good evening, everyone. I really want to thank everybody for coming today and help us to celebrate this special day with Kelli and Teddi. So on behalf of myself, my wife Marie, Teddy's mom Dawn, and his father Dave, who I know is here with us in spirit today, welcome. When I started thinking about this, what I was going to say today, I went right to YouTube and started looking at father of the bride speeches. And these guys had to be like actors or something, because there's no way I was doing that. But one of the things that it talked about was keep it light, tell some jokes. So for those of you that do know me, I do have a certain degree of wit. But I'm going to tell a couple stories today, and it's all going to be all about Teddy, because there's like no way I'm telling jokes about my daughter. So when Marie and I first had the pleasure of meeting Teddy's folks down the Cape, I had recently bought a new car. So I pull into the driveway, and Dawn and Dave come out, and, oh, that's a really nice car. And the first thing Dave says to me, "You want to wash it?" I said, "No, I'm good, thanks." So the next day, Dawn and Dave took us out to the beach, to the special beach where the town people go, where the folks that live in the town go. And the only way to get there was by boat. So we hopped in the boat and out we went. We had a great day out on the beach. And then it was time to go. We all walked over to the boat, and there's Dave Stevens standing there with a sponge in his hands. And I'm thinking to myself, all right, what's this? So Dave was going to sponge my feet, the sand off my feet so I could get the boat here. So you're all probably wondering where I'm going with this. Well, for those of you that know Teddy or have ever been in his Toyota Tundra, when you get into it, I'm afraid I'm going to catch a disease. I mean, there's dog hair, sand, dirt, and tools. I mean, it's like, really? This is Dawn and Dave's kid? You know the old saying where they say the apple doesn't fall far from the tree. Well, that apple fell off the tree and rolled down the street. In all seriousness, Marie and I couldn't be more happy than to welcome Ted to our family. He's a great guy. Like I said, by now my kids and my friends are probably sitting here going, I can't believe that Dad hasn't started crying. No, I'm feeling it. I just, as I said a minute ago, I'm not going to tell any jokes about Kelli. But we are so happy for Kelli and Teddy. I'd like everybody to just raise their glass and toast the new Mr. and Mrs. Stevens. Thank you.
Very good speech right there. That's awesome. Right now, up next, our matron of honor is singing for Sarah, everyone.
For anyone who doesn't know me, I'm Sarah, Kelly's sister-in-law. I had the pleasure of marrying this tall drink of water 5 years ago. Before I begin my speech, I want to first thank my in-laws, Don and Marie, for hosting such a beautiful wedding. I know that it's truly everything Kelli has dreamed about since she's been a little girl, and she may have been a little bit of bridezilla, putting on her Pinterest account, sending me pins every other day. What do you think of this? What do you think of that? But this has truly turned out to be her dream wedding, and her Pinterest board can attest to that. She's incredibly lucky to have such wonderful parents, and she knows that. Kelli, you might not even know this, but our relationship actually began when Sean and I went on our first date. We were out at Friendly's when he got a call on his phone. Seeing that it was the beginning of our relationship, and I was head over heels in love and maybe a little crazy, I tried to inconspicuously glance over to his phone to see who might be calling. It was someone that was so important he felt he needed to answer it. The name that popped up on his screen was Bells. So, not trying to be too obvious that I was eavesdropping, I hear a girl's voice. And Sean's being so sweet to her. He's asking her how her trip was, telling her he missed her and he couldn't wait to see her. I may have been a teeny bit jealous when he finally got off the phone, and I asked, as casually as I possibly could, probably in a very high-pitched voice, who was that? To my relief, it was his sister. Little did I know at that time that Bells would one day become my sister too. The first time I met you, I instantly felt like we would be good friends. Like so many people, I was drawn to your kind spirit and outgoing personality. Although our relationship initially started as friends, now I'm honored to call you my sister. I cherish our weekly, and sometimes daily, conversations, whether they're about our jobs, what outfit to wear, or deeper things like relationships and life's challenges. I'm glad I have you to talk to. You're one of the smartest, most loving and generous women I know, and I admire you and I love you so much. I'll never forget the first time you told me about Teddy. You were home on break from school and you were so excited, telling me that you had met a cute surfer from the Cape. Which, we all know that Kelly claimed she was a surfer as well. From landlocked Pittsfield. Okay. So, I was a bit skeptical, but it didn't take long after meeting Teddy to realize that he was the one. Seeing the two of you together and watching you grow in love over the years, it is obvious that you are perfect for one another. Being here today at this beautiful wedding, I can't help but think how fitting your nautical theme is. It's perfect not only because you live on the Cape, but it's also perfect because it really exemplifies who you are as a couple. When I think about the word nautical, two symbols come to mind: anchors and lighthouses. Symbolically, anchors represent steadfastness. When properly anchored, we're able to remain sure and steady, maintaining stability, firmness, and tranquility within the midst of chaos and emotions tossing themselves around us. Teddy, Kelly's anchor. You've always remained steadfast and stable, supporting her and keeping her grounded as she pursues her goals and follows her dreams. Kelly, you're Teddy's lighthouse. The lighthouse stands alone and tall in both darkness and light, symbolizing strength and safe harbor. Especially in recent times, you've been the beacon of light and hope, offering safe harbor in even the roughest of waters. There's no doubt that the two of you have weathered some very difficult storms already, and that you will again in the future. But I'm certain that you'll always make it through because you have each other. In both the good times and the bad, always remember to anchor and guide one another. I've only been at this marriage thing for 5 years myself, so I'm no expert, but if I can give you one last piece of advice, it's to remember this quote. May the way I look at you, speak with you, and treat you reflect the fact that I have loved you since forever. Kelly and Teddy, I love you both so much and couldn't be more honored to stand by your side today. Please raise your glasses and toast to a lifetime of health, happiness, and smooth sailing for Kelly and Teddy.
I don't know how the best man's going to do it, but after following those two speeches, let's give a nice hand for Jay Maloney, everyone.
Baloney, baloney. The reality is I can't. Those were beautiful, and Kelly, you look beautiful tonight. You know that. Ted absolutely knows that. As the DJ just pointed out, Noel, my name is Jay Maloney, and I'm a good friend, a great friend of both Ted and Kelly's, dating back from our time at Assumption College. And I think that's a great place to start. I realize I'm here today as Ted's best man, but I don't look at it that way. Kelly, I consider you one of my closest friends as well. Let's go back to our time at Assumption College. It's nothing too crazy, nothing too crazy. So, as is par for the course, the first time I met Kelly was a Friday or Saturday night, my sophomore year. Probably had a couple drinks that night. I know, surprise. And naturally, when I heard the name Kelly, I associated with Kapowski. Not sure any of you are aware, but Kelly Kapowski was kind of the it girl of the early 90s from the popular sitcom Saved by the Bell. So ever since the first day I met her, Kelly, I referred to you as Kapowski, to the point that I didn't even know your last name was Richardson until just a couple of years ago. I mean, it was always Kapowski, nothing else. Saving my phone that way too. But you know, as I got to know you more and more, I stopped thinking of you as Ted's girlfriend and started referring to you as my friend and then my great friend. I don't think you realize how much I appreciate your friendship, especially over the last year when, you know, I could call you, Kelly, what type of flowers do I get this girl? What am I supposed to wear? If I just needed a woman's perspective on XYZ subject, Kapowski was the girl I went to. Donna Marie, you already know this, but you raised a hell of a daughter. I mean, loving, supportive, beautiful, kind, loving again. You made my best friend the happiest man in the world, and I am forever thankful for you. And most importantly, Donna Marie, you taught her not to judge a book by its cover, because, well, look at Ted. And now on to Ted. When Ted told me he was proposing to Kelly, I was living in the city at the time. He was, as you may know, he flew down to Georgia to propose to Kelly. So at the time he said, Jay, here's my truck, you don't have a car, do with it what you want for the week when I'm away. To show my appreciation, I managed to get him 2 tickets and get his car towed. You know, you'd think he would have learned because the time before that I ended up blowing out his transmission at Assumption College. So, my bad. You know, I recall him coming home that Friday night back to Boston, and I remember meeting up with him at the tow lot thinking, damn, this is not quite the way I wanted to celebrate my buddy's engagement, but my bad. Evidently I did something right because he asked me to be my best man. When Ted asked me to be the best man, needless to say, I was incredibly excited, appreciative, and just wanted to tell all my friends and family. I remember telling my younger cousin, and he asked, Jay, are you nervous about being the best man? What does the best man do? Quickly reassured my cousin that I had nothing to be nervous about, as this wasn't the first time I was the best man. And in fact, this wasn't Ted's first wedding. You see, Ted and I were roommates at Assumption College. And, you know, we hung out a lot. And we were direct roommates, and we shared a lot of the same classes. One of those classes being a sociology class. And an assignment in the sociology class was to create an event that would create buzz, just something to talk about among the college campus and or the city of Worcester. So Ted and a couple of his college buddies, after having several PBRs, thought up the brilliant idea of creating a fake marriage between Ted Skiba and our friend who's here today, the one, the director over there mixed her up. And like any idea Ted had, this was to the nines. Not only did it take place at a park in Worcester, it also had ushers, myself as a groomsman, as the best man, and our good friend Jorge as the flower girl. Unfortunately for Ted and Nick, they did not live happily ever after. Kelly, I'm wishing it works out a little bit better for you. So I come from a big family that includes 3 brothers and a brother-in-law. When I went to Assumption College, you know, I had a lot of ideas as to what Assumption would entail. Never did I think I'd go out of that college having another brother, but that's exactly what I got. Ted, you know, you're the only guy I call, and it's not to make plans just to see what you're doing this weekend, but rather it's just to call and just see how you are. You're really one of the only friends I do that for. I realize probably 90% of our communication is either quoting Con Air, or it's quoting Fast and the Furious, or it's just giving each other a hard time, like the old bickering couple that so many people refer to us as. But, you know, I want you to know that I really appreciate those phone calls, whether they're weekly, I don't take them for granted. You know, the Skibas, and I say the Skibas because Mrs. Skiba, Jason, Molly, and Mr. Skiba, he's here today. He's watching over you guys. Thank you for providing me with what I consider to be my best friend and my brother. You know, I haven't said it to both of you, Kelly and Ted. I don't think I've ever said it, but, you know, I love you guys both. And so if you could all join me in raising your glass to Ted and Kelly. If you ever need a reminder of love, all you have to do is look at the two of you. So thank you.
Once again, let's give a nice round of applause for all three speakers. Don did a great job, Sarah, Kelly did. We started very shortly.